Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Anybody, please respond if you can hear me.
Good morning, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So we're going to. Okay, so we are still waiting for our guest lecturer. I'm confirming with him at the moment. Now I think it's now 8 o'clock in States at night. So we just simply wait for him. Once he joins, we can start the class. Okay, together with us now, I am very grateful to welcome Prof. Kalamullah Ramli here. Welcome, Prof.
Morning.
Yes. And welcome to all of the attendants, the participants. I think I can see most of the from the class of innovation entrepreneurship in UI, and some are from the class also in UI, but some also I can see my colleague from Palembang, Muhammad Riyadi. I think I have to greet him. Muhammad, is it Muhammad Riyadi, my friend from Palembang? Or another Muhammad Riyadi? Can you confirm?
Surya, also my class from Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship, yes. Is it undergrad student, Prof?
Yeah. There are two classes.
Two classes, okay.
It's around 84 students.
84, so I should admit all. Oh, I think our guest start joining. Wait a minute. If he joins,
Better you assign co-host, Surya.
To greet him.
And
this class also live in YouTube, in the YouTube of electrical engineering.
Yeah. There, Dr. Asya already there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Dr. Asya, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. How are you, Pak?
Sehat, Alhamdulillah.
Very nice home, by the way.
You can take your background, anything.
Huh? Yeah, it's very tidy. It looks modern. Really good office, by the way. I don't know if that's an office or home, but it looks really good.
Surya, better you assign co-host so you are not alone in administering this meeting. Let the students take.
Okay. I think our guest is here already. Wait a minute. I should admit all the participants. Sorry. Wait a minute. Pak Prof Muli.
Yeah.
I will make you also as a co-host. Okay.
Yeah,
so this is our contingency plan if something happen.
Yeah.
So you will be our co-host, and our guest also will be co-host. Okay.
Yeah. Better do that. Yeah.
Okay. Our guest will be co-host, and Prof. Nusi also will be our co-host. Okay. I start admit all the participants. Wait a minute. Let me check the YouTube. Okay.
Surya, better you start. I will accept the rest of the participants.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Ali. Okay, so I will restart again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Very much welcome to our participant, especially our guest lecturer, Muhammad Asri. Raise your hand, please.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Good to be here.
Okay. This is our special guest, Muhammad Asri. Is it the same as the picture you see on the flyer?
It has changed a little bit.
Change a little bit without the very beautiful lips, okay?
Yeah,
and now you have a very
hair.
beautiful long hair. Okay.
Right.
Okay, this is the impact of the
New
pandemic.
normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and also most welcome Professor Kalamullah Ramli here. Professor Kalamullah Ramli also he is the professor in computer engineering in University of Indonesia, and also the facilitator of the class of innovation in other part in under program. Me myself is the facilitator for the innovation in the international undergrad program. But anyway, Department of Electrical Engineering, we are the electrical engineering department in University of Indonesia. Every year we conduct the class of innovation and entrepreneurship for the class of undergrad and class of the postgrad. So what is the purpose of this class is to somehow to trigger or somehow to encourage the entrepreneurship and try to raise up the innovative motivation, innovative thinking for all the engineer students. So I'm very happy here. Muhammad Asri, Dr. Muhammad Asri he is an engineer, yeah, and still an engineer until now in the Facebook, and he is now working in the one of the most innovative company in the world, HQ in California States, yeah, California.
Yeah.
What time
right.
now, Dr. Asri, in States now?
6 p.m. California time.
6 p.m. 6 p.m.
But it is still Thursday. You guys already Friday. We're still Thursday over here.
Okay, yeah. Now Friday night, yeah. Friday night, yeah. Okay.
Thursday night. Night. You guys Friday.
Thursday night, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thursday night, malam Jumat, right? Isn't it? Huh?
Right. I'm
Thursday
supposed
night.
to do Yasinan, but
Yes, you said to do Yasin. Sorry to disturb your Yasin time. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. I can do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Still malam Jumat Kliwon now.
Right.
Yeah, malam Kliwon. Okay. Okay. With us now, we have until now 65 students, and the student come from University of Indonesia. I can see here my student Rehan Zavero. Okay, and some student from I think I can see some student from other university in Bogor also, Bogor Institute of Bogor IPB. Some student also from, I think some because we open this lecture for everybody in Indonesia can join. Yeah, so some student from FT, UI, Bogor. I think some also we have an international student here, and some lecture also join. So without further ado, Dr. Asri, as usual, I used to introduce a person by just simply mention the name and the affiliation, and you guys can see the profile on the Facebook, on the Google, on other things. Dr. Mohamad Asri, okay, right? Mohamad Asri. Yeah, Dr. Mohamad Asri. He is working as a research scientist in Facebook, HQ. His undergrad in Tokyo Institute of Technology, together with me. Okay. Master degree in where, Asri?
Yeah, same. Tokyo Tech too.
Tokyo Tech, and the PhD in?
University of Texas, Austin.
University of Texas, Austin, and start working in Facebook. Before Facebook, you working where?
Not full time, but part time here and there. ARM, Apple, and Intel, and yeah.
Okay, okay,
it's
guys.
So like a part time, yeah.
Yeah, so he also working in Apple. He is also working in Intel, so he can see all the innovative companies. It's very good now. It's very good. It's very perfect lecture because he can share some perspective, innovative, and other things. Okay, Dr. Asri, the time is yours. Please motivate us. Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, what about now?
No, no change.
Oh, interesting. Let me try one more time. Okay, what about now?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, great.
Okay, let's do it. All right. Welcome everyone. It's great to be here. Thanks, Mas Surya, who invited me to give a talk over here and share with you guys. I'm super excited to hang out with you guys and hear more about what you guys are doing over there. My style, like I said to Mas Surya, I'm not a big fan of long and sleepy lecture. I like more Q&A type of style. So I'm not gonna go long and make you sleep in the next hour or so, but rather I'll just, show some of, a few slides that hopefully can spark some, good and insightful discussions. And you guys feel free to ask anything about innovation, about tech industry, about Facebook, whatever, once we're done with these few slides, okay? So I'm not gonna give like lecture per se, but I just want you guys to get something to get started, and then we can discuss more in Q&A session. Okay, sounds great. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce myself. Thanks, Mas Surya, for a brief introduction. I am Muhammad Asri. I was born in Jakarta, and I went to both SMP and SMA in Jakarta too. My SMP is in SMP 115. But who's here graduated from SMP 115? Raise your hand. Say hi. No one?
Raise your hand. I think some. Some of
Nobody?
them.
Okay. And then once, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, continue.
Cool. Yeah. And then I went to SMA 8 Jakarta. The same thing, is just like a couple blocks away from SMP 115. And SMA 8 Jakarta is very well known for, of course, banjir every year. So, but it was a fun school, and it's located, unfortunately, just next to the Kali Ciliwung. So every year it's just like banjir. And then I went abroad for my bachelor degree. I went all the way to Japan because I always had this dream, but I wanted to meet Doraemon because I like Doraemon. So I was like, well, might as well go to Japan and see like if he's there.
And you didn't meet Doraemon. You didn't meet Doraemon. You met me, and then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's not bad either. So I'm grateful. Masuria also
and you know guys, Dr. Asri is my advisor.
No.
He was my Japanese advisor. He
Oh,
read all the kanjis for me.
Yeah,
okay, all the kanjis for
yeah, so we used to hang out a lot with Masuria. That's where I met Masuria, actually, in Tokyo Tech. I think he was doing his PhD degree. I was doing my bachelor and master's degree. And then oftentimes I would, stay in his apartment, just, hang out and sleep over and cook something together. And yeah, it was a fun time. Glad to see Masuria here again. It's been a long time since we met last time. There I did my computer engineering degree, both bachelor and master's. And then I thought, I want to do something else, something different, something, new. So I decided, maybe USA is not a bad choice. So I went to USA and did my PhD at the University of Texas at Austin. Similar field, from my bachelor's degree, I did computer engineering and all the way to my PhD. So I'm pretty kind of linear in terms of field of study. And then once I graduated there, I now work as a research scientist at Facebook Reality Labs. I work on AR, VR, and AI. AR is augmented reality, VR is virtual reality, and AI is artificial intelligence. Okay, so what are we going to do today? So I want to explain more what we're doing in Facebook and as it relates to like the innovation things that we're talking about. But I want to flash back a little bit what we've experienced so far from late 90 and early 20, right? So remember back then, the internet wasn't like very widespread, just like right now. But it didn't start until like late 90s where this dot-com bubble started to like become a thing, right? Everywhere is now connected by internet, and then it's so easy for us to just send a quick message, a text or email or whatever it is to other people in other continents or other countries, and then right away our message text arrive at their end, right? So something that wasn't possible before the internet was booming. So this bubble or this dot-com bubble, the internet spread, opened new opportunities, right? That we didn't even think was possible before. At this point, the big three were born: Google, Amazon, and Facebook, right? And as you know, Google took advantage of this internet thing to build a search engine and also mail service to connect people. So that now, instead of sending physical letters, you can just like send an email within like 1 second. Your letter would arrive to whoever a receiver that you're targeting, right? And Amazon, the same thing. And now they created the marketplace that could connect you with the merchants and sellers and just like easily do the transactions online. You don't have to be physically there in order to buy stuff or sell stuff. And Facebook, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg came up with this idea that, now that we have internet, we can easily connect people for like, entertainment purposes, right? Social media, share your life, share your news, get updates from your friends and the other continents and all the stuff. So all of this, the main big theme was you want to connect people in a way that wasn't possible before the internet boom, right? Like I said, emails, marketplace, and social media. So that was the theme of late 1990, all the way to, I would say, early 2010 or 15, right? So then, do we stop over here? This is pretty good invention, actually, if you think about it. Maybe our grandma or even our mother didn't think that it is possible, right? But now, look what happens currently. We don't even stop here yet. We keep going with this innovation thing, right? The big three look for more possibilities, opportunities, right? For example, like, AI apparently is the next big thing. And now this three built a new AI department in their company, right? Because they know that whoever takes over, or whoever like knows how AI works, potentially is gonna open up new business opportunities, new revenues, new opportunities, right? And like I said, each of this innovation opens up new future opportunities or new business models for them. Take Google, for example, with Alphabet. They're now, building self-driving cars. Amazon now they're taking it to the next level with drone deliveries, right? And Facebook with Reality Labs, which I will talk about momentarily what it really means. But the point is that this innovation doesn't stop at any particular point. It's just like, you know, it gets addictive once you innovate in something and you just want to keep going. And that's pretty much the atmosphere in Silicon Valley, or at least in these tech companies that are, you know, producing the next big things. Okay, so now I want to talk about a little bit about Facebook Reality Labs. You guys might wonder what the heck, you know, Facebook Reality Labs really is, right? So let me ask the audience here. How many of you have seen the Matrix movie here, other than me and Masuria and
other the old generation?
Yeah, the old generation. We're kind of
other
older
than the old generation. Okay.
Right. How many of you guys have seen this?
Just watched last night.
Oh, you just watched last night. Who was that? Neil? Okay. What do you think about it?
Neil, I introduced Neil. Neil is one of our international students. You from Brazil, right, Neil? I think.
Yeah.
Oh
yes,
man.
he is Brazilian.
Nice. My favorite player was Felipe Coutinho, but he's not doing well today. So. But anyways, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, please continue, I think. Yes.
Okay. So if if there are any Masisfi or, you know, female students over here, you should watch this movie actually, because Keanu Reeves actually was in that movie. And then, you know, if you know how this Hollywood works, Keanu Reeves is just like idol for apparently every girl out there. So it doesn't hurt to watch this movie, and it's a cool movie too. But in that movie, basically Keanu Reeves and his team, and think about it, this movie was in 2000, right, or early 90s. Sorry, late 90s. In that movie, they were showing that they can control some digital world using some like smart glasses, so that you know, you can control with your hands, give an illusion you are controlling this very fancy world, trying to project what the future would look like. And now, coming at 2020, we'll see what really happens, specifically in terms of Facebook Reality Labs. Let me play the video.
With AR devices, we're asking the question, how do we build a computing platform that is truly human-centric? Facebook Reality Labs is a pillar of Facebook dedicated to AR and VR to people, to us, to consumers of the world.
Every single new computing era requires...
Can you guys hear the voice, by the way?
Yes, clearly.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
New input devices, the set of interactions that really make this possible.
With AR glasses, I think the key here is to communicate with our computers in a way that is intuitive at an entirely new level. The wrist is a great starting point for us technologically because it opens up new and dynamic forms of control. This is where some of our core technologies like EMG come into play. Neural interfaces, when they work right, and we still have a lot of work to go here, feel like magic.
So if you send a control to your muscle saying, I want to move my finger, it starts in your brain, it goes down your spine through motor neurons, and this is an electrical signal. So you should be able to grab that electrical signal on the muscle and say, oh, okay, the user wants to move the finger.
What is it like to feel like pushing a button without actually pushing it? That could be as simple as, hey, I just want to move this cursor up or move it left. Well, normally I would do that by actually moving. But here, you're able to move that cursor left. And it's because you and a machine agreed which neurons mean left and which neurons mean right. You're in this constant conversation with the machine.
This new form of control, it requires us to build an interface that adapts to you and your environment.
Everything starts with a click.
The intelligent click is the ability to do these highly contextual actions in a very low friction manner.
it's kind of the purest form of superpower. You are in control, but the system is exactly inferring the right thing for you to control. All you have to do to operate it is just click.
So for example, if I'm cooking and I'm kind of pulling some noodles out of a box, the interface could ask me, would you like to start boiling the water? The risk can also be a spot where the technology is communicating back to the user.
The haptics, the sensation of touch around us, this is part of how we learn and use motor control is critical to AR and XR.
We wondered, as you pull back the bowstring on a bow, if we tied that not to the tension growing on his fingers, but rather squeezing on the wrist, would it add to that experience like you're pulling back the bowstring? The answer is yes.
That future, it really is the computer that is seamlessly integrated into your day-to-day life. The next computing platform is the mixed reality platform, the one that really totally blends your virtual environment and your real environment in a seamless way.
We're in this moment where we can move from personal computing to personalized computing.
What if you and a computer agreed to design a keyboard together and you type faster on it than anybody else in the world could type on your keyboard?
I think what this enabled is the ability to not have to focus on a computer or a phone and be able to still interact with other people. It's going to open up a new generation of communication and access and navigation.
It leads to this phenomenon of increased agency. You feel like other control never had before. You want computing experiences where the human is the absolute center of the entire experience.
All right. So, what do you guys think?
Well, they will enslave mankind, right? Everybody will be just in that kind of stuff and you'll never come to reality. Just like in the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Why I'm talking about this, how is it aligned with Facebook mission? By the way, first of all, I have to say the disclaimer that whatever I'm talking right now is not representing Facebook opinion whatsoever. It's just like my personal opinion, and it just happens to be the case that I work for them. But the big idea of this technology really is that, you know, if we go back to the flashback where Facebook uses like internet to connect people in different way, right? Now going forward, we want to even like take that experience into the new level, right? In the sense that we want to connect people that they're feeling so close to each other despite they're actually physically distant, right? Say I want to just hang out with Mas Surya and he's in Indonesia, I'm here in the US. But if I could sort of build some sort of like virtual or augmented reality that makes me feel as if I'm just hanging out with him like next to each other, right? And distance doesn't feel like real anymore. It just feels like, wow, I'm just there with him, right? That would bring human connections in an entirely new shape, right? New form. And particularly if you think about pandemic situation, this becomes even more relevant. People are just like staying home, limited interaction with each other, right? Sometimes they get lonely. Sometimes they get depressed because not meeting people. And then, you know, sometimes, you know, there's data out there showing that the actual danger, you know, from people staying at home, getting depressed, and sometimes, you know, end up in suicidal mode. It's actually also as high as like the risk of getting the actual virus of COVID, right? So now how we can help in this, right? How can we leverage technology so that people can still feel human connection despite all these challenges of distances, right? We want to feel emotionally close to our loved ones while we're far away from each other, right? Imagine it would be so great if you or your parents or whoever people you love, you live far away from each other, but it's just like, you know, every day feels no different. You hang out at the same table, you eat this, you know, the same time, and it feels like you just have like dinner table together, right? So that entire new experience is something that we're trying to build here for the next couple of years down the road. And hopefully that would make human be more connected, and then we feel the, real matrix experience down the road. Okay, so enough about this matrix thing. Now, what I want to do is let's discuss about innovation surrounding this tech and whatever relevant topics might be, right? So I'm going to open a Q&A session. You can ask about anything, innovation, Facebook, Silicon Valley, USA, whatever it is that is related to this class. And I want you to be an active participant, right? So instead of me lecturing you, this is A, B, C, I want you to ask what you want to know and what you're curious about, right? And I believe, at least in Facebook culture, that we tend to learn more when we are driving the seat, right? When we are the active participant, instead of just passively receiving information. So really, from now on, it's your time, it's your show. Ask anything you want to discuss, and we'll see where this discussion ends up being. I am really excited to hear about your opinions, about your insights, and please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Great, Dr. Asri. Okay, so yes, I think we have to. Okay, now we're going to start. Okay, I think Dr. Asri,
Yeah.
Sorry, I got some noise here, so I think I have to. This one of the dark side of working from home. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, okay. Thank you, Dr. Asri, for having the sharing session about the. I consider as the introduction part. Okay. So please open up the discussion. This is a very important. Innovation is the thing to trigger your mind.
Nasri might check the chat. There are 2 questions already.
Oh, okay. I think the chat already here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I start Neil Endrigo. Please, Neil Endrigo. You want to express by using verbal? I think it's better, right, Asri, rather than writing on the reading on this.
Better.
Yes. Even though I can read his question, but please, Neil.
Yeah, like I think I told Papa one time that there's a study that was out and the human IQ is decreasing, right? And I think it's happening because the kids from the newer generations, they do not use too much their imagination because everything is there. You don't need to imagine. So, like I remember I was a kid, I remember being a dinosaur and playing like a dinosaur with my other cousins, or making a Jikidama from Dragon Ball Z, like that. But the kids don't imagine anymore because everything is there. It's already everywhere on the internet. So don't you think that this kind of technology can be dangerous too for us? Because nobody's gonna ever need to imagine anything. You want anything, you just type it and it will show up in front of you. So why do you need to imagine a shark or flying or something? You just put it there, it's there. So don't you think it's dangerous? We could, over the generations, lose even the ability to imagine.
Okay, thanks for the question.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I just watched The Matrix yesterday, so.
I'm not sure if I agree with the premise of the question itself. For me, I don't know, this speaks for my personal experience. So one time, I still remember, the first time I went to Disneyland in Tokyo and Universal Studio, Osaka, everything just like imagination beyond imagination, all the attractions, they let you in, Back to the Future and all the attractions, basically. It's just like beyond your imagination. You feel like, wow, how could they do this? Like stuff that didn't even exist, but can come out, immediately in front of you, right? And for me, that's like one of the happiest moments. It's like, dang, it feels like everything is possible. It feels like, wow, the sky is the only limit. If all these things are possible, imagine what we can do building on top of what we already have to extend new possibilities. For me, instead, things that show you can go so far, actually, that would motivate me to think about what's the next big thing that's possible, given now we have this, right? So for me, the way I see it is, once we get to the point where we can show you what's possible, now people can start get excited and even build more on top of that to see like, okay, what's next then? Technology always works like that. You build on top of what you already have. You reason, you think, what can be improved, what could get better. So for me, I don't see this as destructive, tech, but instead I see this as an exciting way to kind of stimulate our brain to think even more what could be possible.
I agree and disagree with the last statement, actually.
Yeah.
Agree with the point that agree with the point that you said that addictive. Yeah. So I really highlight what you said, Dr. Asri, about when you working in the innovative, develop some innovation and you get addicted, right?
Yeah.
You get addicted, and it's kind of you want more and more and more.
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow there is no limit for achieving something.
Yeah.
And what I want to highlight, the next highlight is it something like the feeling that anybody who want to deal with innovation development should have.
Yeah.
You should have the feeling of addicted to innovate, addicted to develop something.
Right.
Can you give the hints, because we want to take the lesson from this working in develop some innovation.
Hints of can you be more specific? Hints of?
Yeah, I mean hints for everybody of us. Of course, we want to innovate something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it something that like the capacity or like the qualification that people should have, a willingness to develop something and more,
okay,
some kind of
for
motivation?
For me, the one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, is you gotta have that curiosity.
Curiosity.
Curiosity of how things work, right? And once you have that core curiosity, it's just like you want to know like how things work and what happens if I build this instead of this. And this just opens like tons of opportunity, tons of new doors that you didn't even see before, right? And from there, it's
guys,
natural for you to like, go ahead.
Okay, we underline this because this is the lecture, yeah. Even though Dr. Asi don't want to say this a lecture, boring lecture. so okay, guys, one who follow my class, you have to highlight this when I ask you on the mid test later. What is the important qualification? Important when you innovate, curiosity.
Yeah.
Okay, curiosity.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. But thank you, guys, for the very good first point.
Yeah.
So I think we move to okay, wait a minute. Rehan Savero, please, Rehan.
Yeah. So from what you have given us with the videos and all stuff, I kind of wondering what are the challenges in building VR, AI, and how competitive the industry is in terms of competition with maybe Microsoft HoloLens and augmented reality and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with machine learning, neural networks, and AI, and all the stuff. But to give some high-level overview, building an AI system, particularly those algorithms that you use for VR and AR, they require tons of computational power, right? Because you basically process images in a very fast way, right? And you try to detect objects, you try to reconstruct images and stuff. And that takes an enormous amount of computational power. What's challenging is now, if you want to build AR and VR that is wearable, right? Just like in the Matrix movie, then you're very limited to this, small embedded devices that can only do so much in terms of computational power. We're not doing this in servers, data centers, where you can just like have a cooling system that try to cool down the entire racks of servers, right? We're doing this in devices, right? Small devices. So how do you go about solving this contradicting requirements of high computational power for AI system, but also a limited capability, limited power of the embedded devices, right? For me, that's a very interesting challenge. It's just like, wow, these two things are very conflicting. How on hell we can solve this problem? But actually you could. There are a lot of techniques that if you're clever enough, if you're innovative enough, you could actually come up with some clever solutions to balance this too. In terms of how competitive the industry is, it's very competitive, I think. As far as we know, Apple, Microsoft, they're kind of, even Google, they're kind of working also on this field. We're just confident that the technology that we're building is very aligned to our bigger mission, our bigger goal, which is to connect people in a new and different way that was never possible before. So that's aligned with our mission. So that's what makes us very feel great about it and feel confident about it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Any comments? I think we don't want to be just one my question, Dr. Asri answer. I want anybody maybe who disagree, right?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Yeah.
That's so we have to train our brain to agree and disagree. Okay. I like the question by Neil actually. It's really like a threat for the future, something like a threat for the parents. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. because the kids will never can have some imagination. Okay. Anybody? Okay. I think if not, I look at Fatin Najib. Please, you have a session if you want to question or raise an issue or give a comment.
Hello, sir. I'm sorry that
yes,
I can't.
Fatin Najib, please.
I can't turn on my camera.
Okay.
I want to ask about people's orientation. That I see Facebook innovation sometimes make people addict to that innovation. Is there any Facebook innovation that help people to control their addict to Facebook, or how Facebook make an innovation that not only build the technology but also help people to control their mental health?
Thank you. That's a good question too.
Okay.
Masteria, you have a lot of smart students here. I'm glad.
Yes. Okay, guys, you should be proud because one who give you a praise is from the Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, that's another important topic.
It's a Facebook guy.
That's another important issue that we need to discuss. Mental health in relation to like Facebook app, right? So So if we look back, the first time Mark Zuckerberg actually built this thing, his main goal or his main idea is to actually improve people's well-being in a way that he wanted to connect people, right? So that they can feel closer to each other, right? They can share some interesting news about themselves. I got a new job, or I got a new baby, or I went traveling here, right? So the initial idea was to make sure people can feel connected to each other in a very, very convenient and simple way, right? So obviously along the way, people really enjoy the app, and then they just like, wow, it's so cool to see, like, people are traveling here, sharing this news, and feel connected. But then, unfortunately, as every technology, it has a side effect of you are longing for more connections, right? On one side, actually, it works great, because now whatever used to be like limited by distance, now the gap was narrowed down because of this technology. But as the gap is narrowed down, you expect it becomes that you want more and more connections, right? And that means you want to stay more in the app because you feel that the connection will be there as long as I stay in the app, right? Which is not necessarily true. If you're not using the app in a productive way, as in every technology, same with Netflix, same with Google search, same with YouTube. If you're not using that in a productive way, just like, goofing around, obviously every technology will offer more disadvantages than the advantages itself, right? So you've got to be very careful how you use this. We are providing this app so that you could improve actually your well-being by feeling more connected to your loved ones. But how you use it for your personal use, we cannot control that, right? It's up to you to make sure that would align to your well-being, right? Like I said, it's in every technology, there's a side effect. You got to make sure that you minimize that side effect, and the control is up to you. We're not controlling you. We're just trying to make sure we have this platform for you to be able to feel connected with people, right? And in terms of some attempts that we are trying to do to at least help with people's mental health, it's actually a lot, particularly at Facebook groups, right? Groups are intended to build a community, right? So that you can feel connected to whoever you think would benefit you from whatever issues you're having, right? For example, I know a friend who benefits a lot from ADHD mental health group. ADHD, I think, is some sort of, I don't know, general anxiety kind of thing, that you feel like anxious when you're alone, right? And then with that group, when you connect with other ADHD people, you actually feel like sense of belonging, sense of community, right? That you feel like, oh, I'm not alone, everyone is also struggling. Let's just like connect within each of us, right? And sometimes they would go out together, right? Just build that community, right? Sometimes these things are, they go unnoticed, but it plays a very, very, very important role in terms of how we can help people build community, so that would, in general, eventually help improve their mental state or well-being. Thank you.
Okay, but I think I move to the question. There are some, if Mas Asri, if you look at on the chat, there are
there's a lot of questions.
A lot of questions, yeah. Yeah. And so I jump to the question not related to the Facebook, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I simply searching without keyword of the Facebook.
Okay.
Because all are very interesting with the Facebook. Now let's look at the question by wait a minute. Sorry. sorry, so very fast. Okay, Hedi Erizal. I think this is a good question. Hedi Erizal. Can you open the mic? Okay,
Yes.
please.
Okay. Hello, sir. My name is Hedi Rizal. Can you? Nice to meet you. I
Hi.
have some questions, sir. It's about startup, I think. Can you tell us about ecosystem at Silicon Valley? I heard that there's a lot of startup there, and as we now discuss today, is about AR and VR. And I wonder how many startups are developing AR and VR that elaborate with Facebook. And then, yeah, as I know, AR and VR are not just about software or IT, but about device technology. And yeah, the question is how ecosystem at Silicon Valley and how many startups are developing AR and VR that elaborate with Facebook.
Okay, it's more general question about the Silicon Valley.
Yeah. So when I was in Japan, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to go to US was I wanted to be in Silicon Valley. I've heard a lot of stories about that. I watched a lot of videos about Silicon Valley. I read a lot of news about Silicon Valley. But I always thought that maybe it's actually different when you go there and work there, right? So it was always, I always had this dream that I want to go there and actually experience what it feels like working there. So that dream came true, and then I now am surrounded by the Silicon Valley ecosystem. What I can tell you is that pretty much what you saw in the news and videos or whatever you've heard, there are lots of true elements on that for sure, right? For example, in Silicon Valley, it's just like people thinking about the next big thing. What's the next big thing? Who's going to be the next Facebook? Who's going to be the next Google? Who's going to be the next Amazon, right? What idea, what's the next big thing is going to change the world? It's not that you're thinking about, okay, where do I go for the next in the weekends, right? It's just about what technology is going to change the world next. The atmosphere is built in a way that everyone around you is working on some cool ideas, and you don't want to lose the train. You want to be involved in that, and you want to be like the next big thing, right? In daily basis, I saw the statistics that about 1,000 ideas are born every day in Silicon Valley, but only very few made it to the next big thing. But it's just the feeling that, man, everyone is working on cool stuff, and you want to be part of that. And then everywhere you go to, even coffee shop, Starbucks, their idea. Try to convince people this is going to be the next cool thing, right? And then the city itself is just like built in a way that is very easy to connect investors and startup founders, right? Because they expect people just pitching new ideas, and they know exactly what investors to pitch in, and the it's so easy to connect between these two. So I think that's the good thing, or what makes it work, because it's just like when you're there, you're expected to like come up with new big things, and it's just a culture. When in daily basis, like you have that kind of culture embodied in you, it's just so natural that you think about what's the next big things. And then you too, when you see like your friends, are building the next cool products, building the next big thing, you feel like you're no different to them, and you feel like you also are going to change the world at some point. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I like the point atmosphere. Atmosphere. The atmosphere is created by on purpose or just created as it is?
I think it came naturally. If you look
Naturally.
at the historic context, right? 50 years ago, 60 years ago, right? Stanford was born. Well, not but you know, the entire silicon industry was centered around Stanford. And then from there on, it's just like, you know, new companies kept being born, right? So it's just like the nature of academia and industry meet together, and then they build cool stuff. So it happens naturally. Yeah.
Now it's become tradition, right? Now it's become part of the tradition. Yeah, it's part of the culture, and it is a big debate for among all the policymaker. Okay, so I look at the policymaker. Many countries, many cities try to adopt the way of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
But many fails.
Yeah.
Not okay. So why that happened?
Yeah.
Why that happened? I'm asking this from Dr. Asli, who already experienced life in Silicon Valley, and maybe you can compare also in some other place.
That's a good point. I don't let's see. For me, I cannot say why it fails in other places, but what I can say is why it worked in Silicon Valley. Because first of all, you need talent, right? In order to build cool stuff, cool innovation, you need very, very good talent, right?
Talent.
Yeah. And Silicon Valley is so easy to get talent. You have Stanford, you have UC Berkeley, and you even have like other like universities around the US that would, you know, be willing to come to Silicon Valley to just work there, right? So but it is important to have local universities that produce this talent, right, of students, right? And then you also have research, right, which often the case is joint collaboration between these professors at these respected universities and also with the industry, right? And when you have these two agents together, combined with the state government that encourages the collaboration, that the so-called triple helix is just naturally born. That you know, every stakeholder participates in this productive environment, and it's just like a win-win for everyone. It's a win for university because they could get funding for their research. It's a win for industry because they get talents that understand the latest and forefront of core technology, and the government, which benefits from this because, wow, look, the economy is growing, the economy is booming because of this. So it's just like, you know, when everyone plays their part, you have talents, you have policy, you have funding from the industry. It's just like works synergistically well together. And obviously the weather helps. It's very beautiful every day in California.
Okay, nice. But that's why one of the idea in Indonesia is to make a Bali as a
right.
Bali camp. I think Pak Muli one of the witness. Okay. Anyway, okay. Thank you, Dr. Asri. So I think we move to the question that is quite not heavy with the. I believe you will like this question from our Lihardo Ranjaliba. He just graduated last month from PhD in UI. Dr. Ranjaliba.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, Dr. Ranjaliba, please. Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, Pak Muhammad Asri, I came up with the idea of the real impact of the AR and VR. I look on the every journal about the technology impact. It is used to facilitate human real activities by adding some real beneficial to their lives. That video that you showed to us, it is cool, but FB AR and VR is more suitable for gaming than increase human productivity. Sorry to say, just my point of view. Could you please describe some real productivity contribution for this FPS, for this Facebook application, AR and VR? Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not sure if I agree that it's more suitable because that's a very subjective word. What I can say is right now, yes, most of the applications are geared towards gaming, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it could not do anything useful for human productivity. I wish I could say a lot of more things because we discuss this on a daily basis, what use case would be helpful to help increase human productivity. But there are a lot of things that would be possible with the support of AR, VR. I could only say a few things that are public already. Say, for example, in architecture, right? You build a new buildings, you build a new house. It's just hard to imagine what the building would look like before it actually gets built. But now with AR and VR, you can actually monitor like what each particular phase would produce each particular shape of the building, and then you can always go even more that you kind of like simulate okay what the building would really look like, and that not only helped the architects but also the people who are using the architect service. Now instead of just like waiting until the last minute, they can actually see like what my building would look like step by step. Another field that is being used is for athletes, right? Softball athletes, basketball athletes. Sometimes in softball, for example, you have like certain like scenarios where you want to improve your weak points, right? And that can only come with certain scenarios of balls coming with certain angles and certain direction, certain speed. And that's really hard to reproduce. Okay, it's really hard to reproduce in real life. So now athletes are actually starting to use AR and VR to kind of like, have this real scenarios of when, the scenarios that kind of like weak points for them, they can actually train and improve based on AR and VR. Now they feel more comfortable, right? Some saying say that if you can visualize something, then you can actually do it, right? Because visualization is so important that if you can actually do that way ahead and train based on that condition, it just makes things easier when you actually do that in practice, right? I could talk more about AR, VR applications in medical science, how we can identify cancers really quick using this AR and VR technology. I wish I could talk everything, but some of the things are, undisclosed. So I've got to be like careful to make sure that I don't spill out beans. But it's a lot of new opportunities that are going to be possible with this.
Okay. The last part you mentioned about Facebook actually creating also some application for help the medical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like detecting cancer or some other things. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to relate with the concept of innovation and money.
Yeah.
And because at the end, of course, business is business. We have to show that any technology being created or any innovation have to bring money. Show me the money and you will be an innovator. Or if you cannot show the money, it's useless, because at the end we go into the business. Okay. So how is your comment about this? I don't ask question, but just a comment about this. Is it true that the gigantic company always targeting the money as the main target? Technology should bring money at the end. Okay.
For me, the way I see it is money is not the main goal. Your main goal should be producing values, right? That could help people. When people find that your product's actually offering values, then it's just natural for them to be willing to spend money on that, right? And this is like natural human law or human being behavior, right? When you produce some values, and often that values or products actually help them, it's just so natural that people feel happy and they're willing to spend money on that, because that they feel that's something valuable that they'd be willing to pay or spend money on, right? So I think the way I think innovation is you should focus on what values do you bring to the table, right? What problems you're trying to solve, what sort of people you're trying to help, right? And as long as you get that intention right, as long as you're value driven, as long as you want to help people solving their problem, I think money is just a side effect. Money is just like the valuation of that product that you bring to the table, right? Typically, the more you help people, the more valuable your products are, the higher the value, the more money they're willing to spend, right? But the key here is you don't optimize for money, but you optimize for values. Whether or not that value means bringing, some capitals or money, this is like side effect. But you should not focus on bringing the money itself, because oftentimes that would fail because people don't see values, or the products that you're offering are not seen as like genuinely offering value. That's my take on that.
Okay, thank you for the answer. I like that answer. So value is the bridge between the concept of money and innovation. Okay, innovator creates something, money will be the end after you bring the value, and money will come. Yeah, naturally will come in. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, okay, we have a Frederick Daniel have a good question about. Oh, okay, I think it's a good question. Frederick Daniel, you can open the mic.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity for me to talk. I'm just curious about the AR tech because of my inspiration. That is the Iron Man holographic projection. If you are familiar with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, how far in the future are we expecting the technology to be like realized and like used for people in public? You know what I'm saying, Mr.
Yeah, I wish I could answer this precisely and exactly, but
I mean, like, you can give a timestamp, you know, sir. Like,
yeah, it's sooner than later. Yes, but I can't give specific dates and years. But yes, it's going to be a couple of years down the road and sooner than later.
Is it like in a decade? And like, what are the difficulties on working?
A couple of years means maybe between 2 or 5. That's a couple.
Oh,
of years.
okay. So we're close to it.
Okay, so the dream will the deal is come true, right?
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
Okay. I okay. Anyway. Okay. I think we have some other question, and but I want to choose to pick up some question which is quite more not exactly directly related to the Facebook technology, because I think some of you are very curious about the Facebook technology. So I want to, because we want to take general lesson to the class of innovation. That is the main target of this class. Yeah. Okay. Adiva Veronia. I think we have Adiva.
Yeah. Hello. Can you
hear? Okay, Adiva, please. Yes.
Yes. So I actually just want to know of how close we are in accomplishing the technology in the video as a form of machine with nowadays technology that still has some limit to some technology innovation, even though we are already at an advanced level of technology. That's my question.
Can you elaborate more what you mean by machine?
There's in the video, like we use a kind of watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how close we are in accomplishing to make that as a realization.
Oh, the device you're saying.
Yeah, the
okay.
device. The device.
Okay. Dang, it kind of related to whoever asked this question previously. Who's that? About the timeline. It depends on how you define close, right? close is relative to whatever target you're trying to achieve, right? For me, there's no limit there. You can always go beyond and further, right? But how close, whatever stuff that they showed in video to production, I would say a couple of years down the road. But again, like I said before, once you start innovating, right? Once you get something done, it's just very addicting that you want to achieve more. You want to break even more, like what's possible, right? And it's just the nature of innovation. You know, it's a never-ending journey. For me, I see it as like, I don't know, it's just like, it's like video games that, you know, I just enjoy playing it. I don't play video games anymore, but it's just like, I want to stay involved in this, you know, because it feels gratifying to be able to innovate, to come up with some cool solutions, right? And for me, it's just like that what makes your life, or at least my life, it's so exciting that I wake up every morning 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. It's just like, wow, okay, I'm gonna work on this cool stuff this morning. So excited, you know, and that keeps you like motivated every time you wake up from your bed. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, there is one good question. I think from Yehezkiel Jonathan. Okay, I read his question. Okay, how far does the technology go? Okay, how far does technology go? Okay, does it only simulate being in person with another, being in a user interface that people interact, or can it actually fool our brains and stimulate our senses just like real life, like the Matrix? Okay, before Asri answering this question, okay, how far does it go? I want to show you a very good a comic I read this morning, because the question is how far the technology go. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, look at this. Okay, guys, look at this comic. Yeah, this was written in 1997. 1997, and you read this, 1997. So people in 1997 predicting
it's
in
like
2021.
It's like Zoom.
And it happens, you know, it happens. Gitu.
Yeah.
It's okay. So maybe Dr. Asri will answer something technology that will, it's still like a dream, but maybe tomorrow or next 5 years, next 10, it will happen. So how far does technology go?
Oh, it could go as far as you want to go, right? But I think in terms of specific AR, VR stuff that we were talking about, you know, I don't know if you guys have been into this Disneyland attraction called Back to the Future, where you actually sit down in a chair and then you have like this big screen in front of you, right? And then, you know, they play some sort of like AR, VR stuff in front of you in that screen. And it feels as if like you're actually moving, while in fact, they're not moving you anywhere. It's just like they're changing the seat, right? They're just like moving you around with the seat, but never, you know, make you, for example, go further. But it's that illusion that thinks that, man, I'm in space. Man, I'm moving forward with this velocity, right? It's just amazing how that illusion can actually create like some new experience that your brain thinks that you're in like space or something. You're in Mars, or you're in like sky, right? So I wouldn't say that it fools our brain, but I think it gives our brain new experience. Whether or not you want to fool your brains with that, that's really up to us, right? We can feed our brain so that it gets addicted so much that, you know, it's just like you you can't live without it. But or we can just like stimulate our brain to think like, oh, this is what's possible, right? And then just be like, okay, I want to build on top of this and go beyond this. So for me, it's just like exciting world. I'm excited to what future brings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Asri. I invite our special participant here. I think we have Dr. Isa Ansarullah.
Oh wow, that's
Dr.
my
Isa.
co-high. That's my co-high right there.
Dr. Isa, can you open the mic and video?
Oh my gosh, another fantastic human being.
Okay, okay, Dr. Isa.
Sorry, I'm driving.
Oh, you are driving. Okay. Okay. I'm inviting him because he's also one of the expert in, I think AI, also AI.
Actually, my expertise
expert
is
in anything. He's expert in anything.
No. It's actually embedded system and IoT. So.
Oh, embedded system.
Yeah, embedded system.
Yeah, that's why I want you to comment what Asri just talking about this for this an hour about this AI, about the future.
Oh, yeah, I've been listening all through. I mean, yeah, I agree with a lot of his points. Like, especially the one that states that innovation should bring value rather than actually trying to find how to make cuan. So if we actually want to make cuan, then you should be a box mover. I mean, you buy something and sell it with a higher price, something like that. It will be more cuan, more money. Then you have to innovate. But yeah, the innovation itself, I mean, it should bring more value. Like, for example, of course, innovation, the constraints of innovation is actually one of it is funding, of course, money. Like, for example, if you compare someone who is like, he has like a startup that has investor that is backed with like big money, they will be more like trying to innovate without constraints. I think that's one of the problem in, like, if you want to be entrepreneur in Indonesia, you have to think more how to get funding, something like that. If we are start talking, what is it? Realistically, I think so. But yeah, I agree. The innovation itself should bring
value. Rather than money. But why I raise this issue?
Yes.
You know, Dr. Isa, why I raise this issue? Because, okay, I ask you guys, the participant of this class, to be honest, you want to be an innovator, you want to be an entrepreneur. Why? Because we see that many innovators earn more money than being the normal
that's one
employee.
Side of thing, actually.
That's what. Please, what you?
No, I mean, I think you're looking at the peak of the mountain rather than actually what is it, the bottom of it, like the
bottom of that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very grateful, Dr. Asri, Dr. Isha, and we in this class we got a new perspective. Value is very important because we want to shape the perspective. We want to correct the paradigm. Yeah, don't put money as the everything.
Yeah,
okay?
let me add to that.
Okay,
actually, you brought up a very, very good point that sometimes people see that this, engineers or entrepreneurs are so cool. They get a lot of money and stuff like that. Hence, I want to become entrepreneur too, become engineer too. I'm not saying that's wrong. Money, obviously, for some people, it's just like maybe they need money. given like their financial situation or whatever, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. In some cases that might be justified, right? Or some people also just like want to do or become engineer or entrepreneur because, you know, they want to show some people wrong, prove them wrong, right? That, you know, I can do stuff too. So that if I do this successfully, then people would see me that they cannot, like, you know, just underestimate me, right? But I think, like I said, they're not wrong. It just depends on whatever goal you're trying to achieve. But I think if you do stuff for those things, it would likely be that either first, it's not going to have a long-term impact, and second, it's not going to be sustainable. Why? Because doing all these things requires lots of efforts and commitments, right? And if you don't have that inner core value that I'm doing this because of something that I truly enjoy, I don't really care about what people think about me. I don't really care what the money brings. I'm just doing this because I truly enjoy this, and I just want to build stuff that I enjoy doing, right? And if that's really the true core value, no matter what people say to you, no matter how, you know, mean they're saying things to whatever you're building, you're just like, I don't care. I just enjoy myself, right? And in the end, it would likely, very likely, result in first, longer term impact, better, higher impact, and second, sustainable, right? Because, you know, you're just building this because you like it, because you enjoy it, because you're curious about it. I don't care about other people, right? If you care about other people, once they stop, you know, valuing you, then your motivation goes down too. You feel like, oh, I've done so much, I've gathered so much money, but then see, people don't even think that I'm good enough, and you're just like, okay, what am I doing this, right? So please know what is it that motivates you to become a engineer or entrepreneur, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asri. Okay. Among these 97 people, anybody who already start their own startup or their own entrepreneur, or already being an entrepreneur, already try to be an entrepreneur or already start their own business? Can you raise your hand? Among these 96, 95 people, actually. Anybody?
Sorry, a question from Boma Adi is also very interesting one. Boma Adi, if you look at the chat.
Okay, we're waiting. Okay, Boma Adi. Boma, can you open the mic? Mas Boma.
Yes, Pak Surya Negara.
Okay, Mas Boma. Please, Mas Boma.
So I have one question. What do you think about startup on new processor architecture or accelerators, like for AI or for massively parallel computation, like we can see wave computing, Samba Nova, and so on? They are trying to develop a new promising architecture. But as you know, developing a new computer architecture is very expensive, and it requires a lot of support, like from many other parties, like from the software side, like from the operating system and so on. And we can see also a lot of startup in this field as well. So what do you think about that?
That's a good question. So just to make sure that people are on the same page in this talk, when Pak Boma said architecture, that means computer architecture. Computer architecture is a field where you actually design microchips in order to enable all this fancy experience, right? And particularly when you're using just embedded devices, so most of them are powered by these microchips. Related to that, actually, I got an offer too from Samba Nova. They offered me a job too to work there and be part of this their exciting journey. But that's just like another story. My take is a computer architecture is going to be a driving field going forward when we enable all this new experiences for user, right? It used to be the case until late 2000 that whenever we want to build something, we always turn into CPU-based solution. Let me explain again to the audience in case that everyone is not familiar. CPU is central processing unit. It's a microchip that you have in your laptops or phones that is the brain of your devices, right? The CPU is made very, very general, programmable, that you could pretty much run everything on top of that, right? However, it comes with a cost that is not very efficient because you want to please everyone, right? This is another important lecture, an important lesson. That if you want to please everyone, you become a generalist, right? But you're not optimized in one particular field that you do well, right? Now that we have made a significant progress in circuit technology and the silicon and transistors, we are in the stage where we could actually build more transistors. So the microchips building blocks are transistors, right? We're in the stage that we can build more transistors that could afford more specialized building blocks, right? Like I said earlier, CPU is generalized building blocks, which means they could do pretty much everything, but not so efficient. However, now that we have these capabilities of incorporating more transistors, we can build someone who maybe not as flexible as CPU, it cannot do everything, but he's really good at doing one thing, get one thing done in a quick and a fast way, right? So we term that building blocks as accelerators because you want to accelerate, right? So with this, embedded devices coming to the picture, now people are not over-reliant anymore to CPUs, right? First of all, they can build accelerators attached to the system on chip. And then now whatever used to take a significant amount of time processing it can get done very efficient by employing these accelerators. So the future is very exciting. How CPUs and accelerators will work together synergistically to divide the workload and all this stuff. I think it's very, very exciting. That's why startup like Wave Computing or Samba Nova, they're gaining so much attention because they were able to see these opportunities to leverage the heterogeneity of computing solutions, CPUs, accelerators, DPUs, and all this stuff. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. We already 90 minutes. Okay. The football game is over. 90 minutes. Okay.
It's injury time now.
Okay, injury time. Okay, guys, I think very much sorry. I think not all the question can be answered because we have but I just pick some question that is may represent some other question, okay, and quick benefit for all the people that the lesson can be taken for this class, okay. So, I hope you don't mind about this. And Dr. Asri, can you give some closing statements for encouraging these Indonesian youngsters to be the innovator? Before you give the closing statement, I have always come to my mind the question. I mean, some kind of innovator. It is. Do you agree if one said that innovation is like natural born innovator, or being an innovator actually can be created? People can learn to be an innovator. Which one you prefer?
I think it's not either or. I think it's both.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Not either or. So what is your point?
It's a mix of nature and nurture. You know, some
nature.
Yeah, some kids, they're born with talents for sure.
Yes.
But you know, it doesn't mean that you cannot be an innovator, learning from your surrounding environment.
So we need the atmosphere, we need the complete ecosystem,
exactly.
we need a very conducive environment, and we need the motivation, we need curiosity, we need everything. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Please, your closing statement.
Ooh, it's been fun times discussing with you guys. It feels like just like 10 minutes, but we actually have spent 90 minutes. So it feels amazing to be able to be here and discussing with young minds and how they see the world, because Mas Surya and we probably are older generation than you guys, but you guys are the future of our country. Right? You guys are the next innovators. You guys are the next entrepreneurs, right? So whether or not our country is going to go to an exciting journey or exciting path, it really depends on you guys. So I really hope that you guys can find something that you feel like you're having fun when doing it, right? And hopefully that could transfer to some cool technologies that would improve people's life, right? I can tell you that there is no happier feeling when you actually build technology and people smile because they're using your technology. There's just like, wow, you can't buy that happiness with money. It's just like so gratifying. So please find whatever it is, your passion, whatever it is that you're excited about. Try to offer solutions to improve people's life. And if all of each of us trying to go to that direction, I think imagine how much better our world can be. So please, guys, you're the future of our country. Thank you. I think you're muted, Mas Surya. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Rehan is smiling because he's very much confident I am the future. Okay, Rehan. Prof. Kalamula Ramli, you have any other concern?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Adri, for your insight, for your inspiration to all of us, in particular for the students. I remember when first I learned about the ubiquitous computing, pervasive computing. It was inspired by the Star Trek series, Star Trek Next Generation. Until now, I think people still inspired by the Star Trek. In particular, people could move its particle. Yeah. We are still hunting for that opportunity to come. Yeah. Struggling to do that. People can move everywhere only using, light. Yeah. Particle movement is still a dream. Yeah. But smart badge, virtual reality, augmented reality, they started from the Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah.
Now, you open again with the Matrix one. Yeah. So Hollywood really inspire us. Sometimes it is really unreliable or unrealized. Yeah. Could not be realized, but to make it anyway. Thank you very much, Asri, for enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa. But you really brought up a very, very good point. It's about new frontier technology always starts with a dream, right? Yeah. It always starts with a dream. What you want, right? How you envision the world should be, so it should look like. And then it is the engineer's job to make sure you narrow the gap between what reality is and what your dream is. Right? That's the engineering job, pretty much, or scientist's job, to narrow this gap so that the reality becomes your dream. And that's pretty much what happens throughout the last, decades or years. So, very good point.
Thank you, Dr. Asri, Prof. Ramli. Okay, guys, as a closing moment, I'm requesting Dr. Asri to give a sort of a question, just simple question. For these 90 people, and the one who can answer correctly, I will give the prize GoPay.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Not from Facebook. Okay, the sponsor is not from Facebook. GoPay. And the price is only if from Facebook, maybe the GoPay will be 50 bucks, yeah.
Yeah,
50 bucks. But 50 bucks is $50,000, is it? One box is 1,000.
50 bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, 50 bucks. I don't know bucks, but I thought you
Yeah,
were saying
50.
bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, but now it's only 50,000 rupiahs. Anyway, please. Okay, guys, if you give a correct answer, and please answer in the chat box. Okay.
Okay. So, I have two questions, and you have to be able to answer both. They both are very quick questions. First, who is the founder of Facebook? And second, where did he graduate from? How are we going to do this? Okay, I think Frederick got it. Frederick, the first one, I think, got it. Yeah, Ezekiel, you got it, but he didn't really graduate from Harvard. He dropped out. So I think it's Frederick who got it.
Okay, it's a very tricky question. Your second question is very tricky. Where he graduated? Yeah, that's true. He didn't graduate. I was too motivated for the money.
You gotta look for value.
Not the value. Okay. Okay, yes, Kiel. Yeah, you're very motivated for the money. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay. Okay. So, Frederick, you drop me WhatsApp. You know my WhatsApp? You don't know.
I don't know your contact number. How will I be able to contact you?
I will chat. Okay.
Okay.
50 bucks, 600 rupiah.
600. Yeah, 50 bucks.
50,000 GoPay.
Okay, I feel 50 bucks GoPay. Okay, guys, thank you very much. And I see you again maybe on another special lecture. And Dr. Asri, maybe I will invite you again for another moment. Okay, it's okay?
Yeah, sure.
As long as morning time, right? Because it will be evening time there. If I invite you on evening time in here, you are sleeping. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Thank you very much. We give an applause for Dr. Asri. And
thank you, guys.
Okay.
Really, really enjoyable.
Okay.
I had a great time with you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. And I am this. We close this special lecture. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for following this class. The most important thing, we take lesson. We enrich our understanding, our perspective, and the lesson is already there. And you can repeat this lecture in the Department Electro YouTube, official YouTube. Okay. You visit there and you can refollow the lecture by Dr. Asri. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Asri, and
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.